Today I'm using the workbench to build the workbench. We've tarped it over with some spare plastic sheet, and it's finally warm enough in the garage to start gluing up lamination. Which is pretty exciting. I'm sure all of you at home are riveted by the progress. So let's just talk setup here for a minute, because I think once this starts to glue, there won't be much time to chit chat. So it has a nice stable base, which is relatively free of twist and nonsense. Gonna glue it. I'm gonna go this way with it. Probably one in the middle, one on each end, I think. And those will clamp down against part of the underside of the bench here as well. And those they're called cawls, gluing sticks basically. And the idea is that those cawls will help keep it from squishing out of place and help the ends of the boards go like this when you glue them. Quite often they move against each other and whatever, so try to clamp that down. Copious amount of clamping. I have a stand set up here with a bunch of super cheap Power Fister stamps, or no, clamps. These are called clamps, by the way. Little stand there where I can get to them easily. Initially I was going to run the threaded rod through and use that for clamping as well. And I may, 2, 4, 6, I have 8 good sized clamps. I might do a couple. I have to have them aligned anyway. So there's holes through here for threaded rod. And we'll see, I guess, how excitable I get. But maybe a pain to do the end ones with the other clamping, so maybe I'll do these center threaded rods just for extra clamp force this way. And then we'll be good to go, I hope. Let her cure for a few hours and then hauled into the basement overnight, because we're still cold overnight here. Let me get this thing sort of set up, I guess. Golden rule of amateur YouTubers is that the neighbor's always mowing. So we got some LePage wood glue, carpenter's glue, high initial tack, great for cabinets and furniture. Basically we picked this because it's a big jug and it was the cheapest large amount. So we're just going to give her one and see how we do. Godspeed, everybody. I foresee this taking a while. Well, I was right. That did take a while. So instead of making everybody suffer through that again, I'll give you this time lapse here of the second half of the bench as I glued that up. Same process, yada yada yada. And you'll see eventually that I run in the threaded rods. I did that on the first one as well. Lots of clamps. Now, you see it slide to the side there. That's just hammering some end alignment sort of roughly into place. Then I busted out the cordless drill, buzzed the threaded rods in, and hope for the best, right? Something I definitely figured out while I was doing the first half of this was that the LePage high tack or high initial tack wood glue stuff, probably the wrong choice. It was a bit of a race to get everything lined up and clamped before that really started to stick. I had to really hammer some of the bits into place, so some more working time would have been better than high tack. There we go. The glue up has gone mostly okay. I've done this in two halves on purpose. I probably spoke about it at some point. It's easier for an amateur like myself to manage a smaller glue up. But also, this is going to be my working side. I'll be working on that side of the bench most of the time. And there's a thing, another 2x4 that'll drive in here. The 4 threaded rods. We'll clamp that all together just so. But if I were to go bonkers and smash a big chunk out of the side or beat it all up or whatever, half of the bench top can be replaced. Sort of a slightly modular. And it took a little while just to massage these tenons in. However, I don't think I'm going to have to fasten this down. So these things must weigh 50 pounds a piece. I don't know. It's a lot. And they, with the tenons being pretty tight, they hold in place really nicely. So it's been a joy to plane. I'm just using my old footprint number 4 and my very old, kind of beat up Bailey number 5, which has a really cambered iron in it. That's how it came, and this is a great use for it. But this is a mostly planed and a barely planed side, and you can see there's a good 1/16 here. Some of those spots where you can see it's bare from planing, there was probably an 1/8 or better difference in height there. So just take a little planing, but awesome progress, very sturdy, super pleased so far. Alright, this has turned into a real thing. The threaded rods are through, it's cinched, top is mostly planed, mostly flat, flush cut the tenons off, sort of like hack job, slabbed off the ends there with the circular saw, which isn't big enough of course, so circular saw and then the flush cut saw. But that's her so far. Next big part of the project is going to be figuring out work holding. I have a small cast iron woodworking vise that I'm thinking about putting down here in this end, sort of like a tail vise ish, and I'm seriously considering building a leg vise, a big leg vise thing here, out of a hardware kit. There's lots of hardware kits, or make it your own hardware kit. We'll see. Also, I'm gonna have to do some bench dog holes around. I haven't figured that out yet, but this thing is stoked. I think you can park a minivan on it quite easily. I'm super pleased, and it does not move when I'm planing, which is awesome. That's the desired effect, kind of. It's very, very sturdy. Not 100% on the height yet. I may cinch it up a little bit. I definitely don't want it any lower, but that's to be determined after playing with it a bunch and seeing how it works. So, whew! All right, she's a real piece of gear. Heavy too. I bet you it's close to 200 pounds all put together. So anyway, there you go. That's the 2x4, 2x6 construction lumber cheapo Rex Kreuger sort of Roubo type woodworking bench. And we'll be back with more accessorizing and, vices and stuff eventually. Thanks for watching. Cheers.